My name is William. My TA is Ramiro Rodriguez. I am taking Psych 1 this quarter, and I'll be talking about the biological basis of psychology. The topic I'll be talking about is the flight and fight response. It's a response where you either flee or you fight back against like a certain danger you feel. So once the brain processes any memory slash like perceptual images that it perceives, and the amygdala, which is part of the brain next to the temporal lobe, it recognizes these perceptual like images and perceives it as a danger or no danger. Once if there is danger,
What's behind you?
I don't know. It perceives danger. Once it perceives danger, it sends a signal.
Yo, what's that? What's that?
I don't know. It sends to the hypothalamus, and the hypothalamus sends a signal to the somatic nervous system, which basically acts as a like a cascade event, which means like an event happens after another. What was that? So it creates like a chain of like effects where like it produces like an effect where it increases in your adrenaline, your cortisol, your basically like any like stress response. It basically like increases your heart rate, blood pressure, which makes you either fight or fight response, or like the feeling of like fighting. But my biggest fear right now is like getting like followed in campus, like at night. I like walking back from the library after like studying after like 12 a.m. Getting followed, chased by like some random guy or like person with a knife. So basically, hopefully I don't experience that at all. Like I don't know who was that behind me earlier. It kind of scared me. Like my heart rate like spiked up a little bit, but hopefully that's all good.
What's up, Derek? I hope you're having a good one. My name's Sam. I'm in your 8 a.m. discussion class, and today I'm going to show you the 3 different study strategies, which include the cramming effect, the self-reference effect, and the spacing effect. So come with me to my dorm. Right this way. So over here to our guy on my right, we have an example of the cramming effect. There's 2 negative problems with the cramming effect. 1, you get a lack of sleep, and 2nd, you're very stressed. He's under a lot of pressure right now because he's scared of failing, and he only has a few hours left to study because his exam is at 8 a.m. tomorrow. And the problem with cramming is it's going to get in the way of your sleep. And when it gets in the way of your sleep, you're not going to be able to remember that information, since you need a good night's sleep in order to remember all the information that you learned in class. And another problem is, since he's under a lot of stress, his body's going to start releasing chemicals that aren't good for his health. So he's under a lot of pressure right now. But to make it a little easier for him, I would tell him about the self-reference effect. The self-reference effect is basically a study strategy. Where you look at the notes from your class and you write it in your own words, or another way you could do it is where you connect the material to real concepts in your life so that it's a lot easier to remember the information. Over here, we have a guy who actually did it and used an example of the spacing effect, but we gotta be quiet. Hey, come here, come a little closer. Why are you having such a good night's sleep today? Don't you have an exam tomorrow? What kind of studying strategy did you use to get all this good night's sleep?
It's funny you asked, actually. Come closer. Closer. It's too close. I use the spacing effect to help me study effectively while getting enough sleep.
Thank you. The spacing effect is basically where you spread out the amount of time you have and you study multiple days in short sessions. So what he did is he studied 5 days before his exam. He would study 20 to 30 minutes every day of the material, so that helps remember it. And also, doing that strategy will help you remember all the things that he learned for the long term, or it will help him remember information for the future. And the best thing about the spacing effect is that when he goes to sleep, unlike the cramming effect, it won't get in the way. He'll be able to get a good night's rest. And having a good night's rest is very important for taking exams, because he really needs them in order for him to remember all that information and to put it together as a whole. So with that being said, have a good night rest.
Good night.
So with that being said, those 3 examples I gave of the cramming, self-reference effect, and the spacing effect. So with that being said, the spacing effect is the most effective studying strategy since you're able to space out as much time as you can in order to remember information, and you'll remember it later in the future. And then the self-reference effect will make studying a lot easier so that you will be able to remember information, connecting things to your personal life, and also by writing the notes in your own words. And the only bad thing that we discussed today is the cramming effect. It's basically where you discuss information, where you study information all in one night. So if like the guy over there, he only has a couple hours till exam. He's gonna be very stressed, which is gonna release a lot of unhealthy chemicals in his body, which is gonna cause a lot of harm to his health. And also, he's not gonna get a good night's rest, which is also gonna harm him in remembering that information. Thank you, Derek.